For centuries, their name has been a whisper, a legend. The Knights Templar, guardians of the Holy Grail, protectors of Christendom's most sacred relics, and the keepers of a lost treasure that has fueled the dreams of adventurers for generations. They were the warrior monks, the first international bankers, an order of immense wealth and power, seemingly untouchable, protected by the Pope himself. Then came the dawn. In a single, brutal, and meticulously planned operation, every Templar in the Kingdom of France was seized. In dawn raids coordinated with shocking efficiency, the king's men kicked in the doors of Templar preceptories from Paris to the Pyrenees. The most powerful military order in the world was decapitated in a matter of hours. This was not a holy war. It was a heist. The man who gave the order, King Philip IV of France, was a monarch drowning in debt. He had already plundered the assets of Jewish moneylenders and Italian bankers to finance his wars. Now he had turned his gaze to his single biggest creditor, the very order that managed the kingdom's finances. The legend of Templar treasure was not just a myth to Philip. It was a solution to his financial ruin. The sheer trauma of that day, a papal-sponsored order annihilated by a king on that specific date, would echo through history, possibly cementing Friday the 13th as a day of misfortune in the Western mind. In the immediate aftermath, as the king's men ransacked Templar vaults, they found something deeply unsettling. The Templars' wealth was vast, but it was in land, estates, and a sophisticated system of credit, not rooms overflowing with gold. The legendary liquid treasure Philip had banked on simply was not there. This discrepancy between the expected riches and the reality of the seizure created a narrative vacuum, a question that has haunted us for 700 years. If the king did not get the treasure, where did it go? It was this historical disappointment that gave birth to the enduring myth of the lost Templar treasure, a global obsession sparked by a king's failed get-rich-quick scheme. To justify this unprecedented royal mugging, Philip needed a pretext. He needed to turn heroes of Christendom into monsters. And so, with the help of his ruthless minister, William of Nogaret, he concocted a list of charges so vile they were designed to shock and horrify the medieval world. The Templars were accused of 127 distinct heresies. They were said to have denied Christ during their secret initiation rites, to have spit upon the cross, to have engaged in obscene kisses and homosexual practices, and to have worshipped a mysterious idol, a severed head known as Baphomet. These charges, likely written a full month before the arrests, were not the results of an investigation. They were the script for a character assassination. And to ensure the actors played their parts, the king's men employed the full gruesome theater of medieval torture. Knights were starved, subjected to the strappato, a device that dislocated their shoulders, and had their feet coated in lard and slowly roasted over open flames. Under such agony, the vast majority confessed to everything. When 54 knights later found the courage to recant their forced confessions, Philip had them burned at the stake as relapsed heretics, a terrifying message to any others who might consider telling the truth. Philip had effectively weaponized the Holy Inquisition. He took the church's legal machinery for rooting out heresy and turned it into a tool of the state, a way to provide a veneer of religious legitimacy to what was, in reality, the violent elimination of a creditor. Pope Clement V, a wee pontiff under the French king's thumb, was presented with a stack of signed confessions. A fait accompli he was powerless to reverse. He soon issued a papal bull, ordering the arrest of all Templars throughout Europe. The king's gambit had worked. The Templars were officially heretics, or so the world believed for 7 centuries. The story should have ended there, but deep within the Vatican, in an archive containing over 52 miles of shelving, a secret lay hidden, misfiled for centuries. In September 2001, an Italian paleographer named Barbara Frail was researching a different topic when she stumbled upon the dusty document. It was known as the Chinon Parchment. Dated August 1308, just months after the arrests, the parchment recorded a secret papal inquiry. Pope Clement V, trapped between the ruthless French king and the destruction of a powerful religious order, had made a desperate move. He sent 3 of his most trusted cardinals to the Château de Chinon, where the Templar leaders, including Grand Master Jacques de Molay, were being held. Their mission? To bypass the king's tainted investigation and learn the pure, complete, and uncompromised truth. What the cardinals recorded changes everything we thought we knew. Under questioning from the Pope's men, away from Philip's torturers, the Templar leaders admitted to certain sins. They confessed to the denial of Christ in words only, not in spirit. A practice some historians now believe may have been a brutal form of psychological training, preparing knights for what to say if captured and tortured by Saracens. They admitted to irregularities, to sins of the flesh, but they vehemently denied heresy. And then the parchment reveals the Pope's secret verdict. After hearing their confessions, the cardinals, acting with the full authority of Pope Clement V, extended the mercy of pardon from the verdict of excommunication, restoring him to unity with the Church and reinstating him to the communion of the faithful. There it was, in black and white. The Pope's own agents had absolved Jacques de Molay and the Templar leadership of heresy. The parchment was the ghost of a failed political strategy. Pope Clement had attempted a brilliant compromise: find the Templars guilty of minor sins, which would placate King Philip, but absolve them of the capital crime of heresy, thereby saving the order and preserving papal authority. But King Philip had no interest in compromise. He wanted annihilation and the Templars' wealth. Faced with the explicit threat of military force from the king, Pope Clement folded. He buried his own commission's findings. The Chinon parchment, the proof of the Templars' innocence on the charge of heresy, was filed away and forgotten. In 1312, the Pope officially dissolved the order, citing not heresy but the damage to its reputation, a reputation the king had systematically destroyed. 2 years later, Jacques de Molay was led to a stake on an island in the Seine. He died proclaiming his innocence, cursing both the king and the Pope from the flames. Both men would be dead within a year. For 700 years, the official story stood. The Templars were heretics, but the truth was hidden in the Vatican's own archives. A secret that proves the Knights Templar were not casualties of a holy war, but victims of a king's greed, a pope's weakness, and one of the most brutal betrayals in history.